Hey guys, I'm Mezzy, and welcome to my guide for Heroic Norushen 10-man. This is the third encounter in Heroic Siege of Orgrimmar. I'm going to assume that you know all the normal mode mechanics. If you don't, you can check out my normal mode Norushen guide. You can click on the link in the annotation or in the description section below. Now this fight's mechanics do not change at all. Everything has more health and does more damage, and on 10-man instead of 2 orbs there are 5 to go to the Trial Realms. But even though the mechanics don't change, the increased health and damage are more than enough for you to deal with. The bolts the essences shoot to increase the amalgamation's damage hurt a lot more, so you can't stand in front of them anymore. Instead, you are going to have to interrupt the cast. Secondly, because of the increased health and you still start out with 75 corruption, the enrage timer is going to be pretty tight, especially if you're going to do this for the first time. So here are the things you have to deal with and how to sort it out properly. First off, on 10-man you should go for 2 tanks, 2 healers and 6 DPS. The most important part is the purification of people. You want to get people purified as quickly as possible without overwhelming the raid in the normal realm. Designate 1 orb just for tanks, 1 just for healers, and then the remaining 3 can be used by the DPS. When you start the encounter, send in 1 tank, 1 healer and 2 DPS into the Trial Realms. Have 1 DPS kill their manifestation first and the other DPS kill it last. From now on, whenever a DPS comes out of the Trial Realm, the next one goes in. It helps your raid a lot if they make sure that the raid is stable before they go in. So for example, if a manifestation is up, it's better for the DPS to help to kill it off before going into the Trial Realm. The same goes for the second healer. Once the first one is back out, make sure that the raid is stable before going into the Trial Realm. DPS and healers will only have to purify themselves once, while the tanks will have to do so regularly, because they still take the void zones the manifestations leave behind when they die, and it still increases their corruption by 25. The DPS that goes into the Trial Realm third, so when the first DPS comes out, needs to pick up the first void zone that spawns from the first manifestation. This is because 2 manifestations will spawn at the start due to the first 2 DPS going in, and the tank will only be able to pick up 1. Seeing as the third DPS will go into the Trial Realm soon, it'll be the littlest DPS loss. Now this is the only time that a DPS should be picking up a void zone. Other times it should always be a tank, and should something have gone wrong and they are both at 100 corruption, a healer should pick it up in an emergency. Tanks still have to deal with the self-doubt debuff, and they should be switching around the 3-stack mark. The tank that isn't tanking the boss will be tanking the manifestation, and the tank with the highest corruption will be picking up the void zones. Once a tank gets to 100 corruption, they need to go back into the Trial Realm to reset their corruption again. Now this is something that you might find needs adjusting due to timing reasons, so make sure that your tanks are communicating with each other, and if it works better to go in on 75 corruption for example, then do so. The main issue here is to always have a tank be able to tank the amalgamation without their self-doubt stacks being too high, while still allowing either tank to soak the void zones and to purify when needed to. Even when purified, the DPS should always switch to the adds, because they can make things unnecessarily harder. Now on Heroic, the Icy Fear aura hurts a lot more, and when you're getting to the lower percentages, you need to use Heroism around the 35% mark. Be ready to use the personal cooldowns in the last 10%. Even when you get to the final 10%, be sure to kill the manifestation that spawns as soon as possible. And that's all you need to know for this encounter. Once you get used to dealing with the higher numbers, you'll be well on your way to a kill, so good luck. If you liked this video, please comment and subscribe. If you would like to keep up with when new videos come out but you don't have a YouTube account, you can also follow me on Facebook or Twitter at facebook.com/bbmezzy or twitter.com/bbmezzy. For now, I'm Mezzy and I'll see you again next time. See you again.